There we go. Hey! Sorry. For those of you who use Windows, you know that Windows did an update this morning, and so it kind of broke everything. So, chat, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if I should, turn my mic up, turn my mic down. How are we feeling? What's the vibe? Hey, Asia! How are you? It's so good to see you. Thank you so much, Shane. Yeah, I'm glad. Cool. Okay, so welcome. Happy New Comic Book Day. Thank you, Asia. Happy New Comic Book Day. Best day of the week. I am so excited to be here, as always. And I'm really glad that you got to spend this Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon with me. Hey, Robin. Good to see you. Manny's in the chat. Frank's in the chat. Oh, this is a good chat. Marvel Queen's here. Oh, this is going to be awesome. Okay, today's show is going to be really good. We were chatting a little bit beforehand, and I was like, save her for the show, because I don't want to use up all the magic before we get started. Yeah, good to see you. Okay, so today on the show we have needle and thread writer David Pinckney and artist Ennun Ana Iurov. So they'll be on momentarily to chat about Needle and Thread, which is the first graphic novel from Maverick. It's the first one to come out. And Maverick, as you know, or maybe don't know, is the really awesome imprint, the YA imprint from Mad Cave Studios. So this is the first book that's coming out. And honestly, it's like, what an incredible first imprint book to be released. It's so sweet. It's 200 pages. I just flew through it. It's incredible. So I'm really excited to get to talk to them a little bit more. But it is New Comic Book Day, and so today we have... Oh, thank you so much for editing this, Chris. Chris, our producer, has my back. So today we have out Nottingham issue number 5. Go pick it up. We know from past experience that stuff sells out really quickly. And Beckstar number 3, which is also doing super well. So if you go to your local comic shop today or this week, pick up Nottingham issue number 5 and Beckstar issue number 3. Yeah, Asia's got the link in chat. Thank you so much. Asia, you're too good. So we're going to be doing a giveaway as well. And today it's kind of cute, actually. So Needle and Thread is about like following your dreams and cosplaying and creating clothes. And so we're actually giving away a crochet kit so you can make your own cosplay at home. So that's going to be a really fun one to win. And I would just want, like, if you win and you take pictures, I would like to see, like, tag me after you make something. I would love to see what's being made from this crochet kit. I think it's such a sweet little giveaway. And yeah. Okay, so looks like chat's doing well. As always, we support Bink. So Bink is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to assisting booksellers in need. The Bink Foundation grew out of a wish of bookstore employees to establish a fund to help their colleagues experiencing unexpected financial crisis. Bink is dedicated to assisting bookstore and comic store employees across the United States in their greatest time of need. So if you have some extra cash, please throw them at Bink. There's a sweet Mad Cave Supports Bink donate here link in the chat right now. So please support them if you can. And I actually think we have a lot to talk about, so I'm going to jump in. We're going to play the Needle and Thread trailer, and then I will be right back with David Pinckney and Ennun Ana Iurov. So, BRB.
Yo, this is your boy, Hiroki, coming at you live from Green Lake High. At the top of the food chain, we got Azuri. She has the dopest clothes, the coolest friends. She's even the head cheerleader. I mean, this girl's got it all. Then there's my guy Noah. He's definitely not at the top of the food chain, but he's my best friend. He likes to do weird stuff like watch old monster movies, read comics. My man even sews his own clothes. Crazy, right? He's got this dream of working in film, making costumes. I don't know. Could be kinda cool. But his parents don't seem to dig it. I know he's applying for Stonewell anyway. Hope he gets in. I just don't want to see my boys sad, you know? Like, it's senior year. It's supposed to be the best year of our lives. Anyway, I gotta get to class. Hiroki out?
And we're back. Hello, everybody. Say hello, David. Say hello, Ennun.
Hey guys.
Yeah. Chat. Let me know if you can hear them both.
Yes, please.
Drop some snaps and some claps and some love for David and Ennun. Hi, yeah. So exciting. Okay, how are you both doing today?
Doing pretty good. Can't complain.
Yep. Very warm, but otherwise good.
You're warm? Is it pretty hot over there?
We have like 35 degrees, so it's pretty hot.
35 Celsius. Yeah.
I don't know what
Celsius.
much that is in Fahrenheit. I have no idea how Fahrenheit works.
We'll assume it's hot.
We'll assume it's
Yeah, it's
very
probably
hot.
hot.
Yeah. And can you tell me about this cute little guy that you're holding?
Yes, this is my little toothless. Well, little. He's a big boy, but
That's a very big toothless.
he came to keep us company today,
Oh,
like a good boy.
I'm so excited. Okay, so I want to start with what is my favorite question to ask, just because I love the beginnings. Will you both tell me which comic kind of got you into comics, or which comic made you think, "Oh, I want to make comics. I want to do this."
Yeah.
David
Let me
first.
think about- Okay, I'll go first. I think probably the first comic that really got me into comics was Marvel's Civil War. Like I hadn't really read comics, but then my wife or girlfriend at the time was like, "I'm reading these Civil War books." I'm like, "What is this?" And I started reading them. I was like, "Ah, this is great." And that kind of got me into, looking into comics. And I started with Ultimate Spider-Man, and then that was like the first series like I really like collected. And then just from there, I just started branching out from, Marvel to DC to Image, Dark Horse, and just kind of finding, the books that I would kind of like identify with or click with, and started picking those up. And that's what got me into comics.
That's awesome. Ennun, how about you?
Well, it's a bit complicated because for a very long time, comics didn't really come to Romania that easily. So the only ones that I actually knew growing up were Asterix and the Smurfs. And then when I was in like 6th grade or something, we discovered by accident anime. And then we discovered that those were based on mangas. And that opened up a whole new world for me. And I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And then I got more into like European and American comics, and I think it's kind of like a mashup of everything in that period, really.
Yeah.
My mom used to always say that I would get into comics. I was like, you don't know that. It's like just because I like them. And then, mom's right, of course.
Wait, did your mom read comics? Like, is that something that she was into? And she's like, I think.
Yeah. The reason I knew Asterix was because my parents collected. Like, we have every single volume that ever came out.
That's really cool.
Whoa, that's a sweet family pastime.
They would translate it for us because we had half of them are in English and half of them are in French. And me and my brother don't really know French that well, so mom would be like, okay, sit down, and then you should translate it for us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like
Good
a nighttime reading, maybe?
Yes.
That is
Good,
incredibly sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Manny in chat says, wow, that's history. Yeah, that's really awesome. Comics in your blood, says Avery. Hey, Avery, good to see you.
Yep.
Okay, and this is both of your first comic, correct?
I've done some creator-owned work and some published, like one other published work.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I've done a couple books.
Okay, but this is your first graphic novel, maybe?
First graphic novel, yes.
Okay. And which is 200 pages. So
Which is
how is it working on for Noon for it to be your first comic? How was it working on a 200-page comic? And David, for how was it like writing a 200-page graphic novel?
You want to go first?
Sure. It was interesting. uh, honestly, when I first got the when I was first talking to Chris, the editor, Chris Sanchez, uh, and he told me it was 200 pages, I was like, ooh. Because I have a tendency to get bored of a subject if I stay too long on it. So I was a bit worried I wouldn't get burnt out too quickly working on it, but it worked out fine. So, it was
Did
interesting
you
working with other people.
did you like have to pace the pages? Like did you have a goal like I have to do, 2 pages a day or 5 pages a week or whatever?
Uh,
Or did you
kinda?
just like plow through
Yeah,
it?
I tend, if I start working on something, I tend to go until the end of the day. It's like, I would have times when mom would message me, it's like, go home, because it was like really late.
Oh.
Yeah, so I tend to go, it's like, I have a few days of not working, and then a few days of working obsessively,
Okay.
and then again and again and again. It just,
So like your process is more of like a roller coaster.
yeah. And I couldn't say how many pages I do in a day because it really depends. So, yeah.
And David, how about you? I mean, like, how long was the actual script? I know that the book was 200 pages, but how long was your script?
So with formatting and everything, the PDF was something like obscene, like 300 some odd pages or something like that. Because part of the I guess difficulty when when you're writing um, graphic novel, especially when you're writing for with an artist that you've never worked with before. And in the beginning, I didn't even know who the artist was. You don't really know like how much panel description you should really put. Should you put a little bit? Do you put a lot? You just kind of don't know. You just kind of feel it out. But yeah, so like the format of script was like 300 some odd pages, and when Mad Cave came to me, or when Chris specifically asked me to do it, and I said yes, and I got the kind of the directive to be like, okay, we want to try to keep it like somewhere between 160 200 pages. And I remember being like a little bit worried since this was my first full graphic novel that I wouldn't hit 160. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get to that. But about halfway through the book, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to say under 200. So I think
Wow.
the script that I finally turned in, comic pages wise, was 199 pages, just right under. Before I sent it before like final edits and all of that. So at first it was kind of daunting to do it because I didn't think I'd make it. How do I get that far? And then it became daunting because like by that last chapter, I was like, I want like 20 more pages, but I don't have 20 more pages. So, kind of trimming the fat and you know, making it under 200 pages. And like I've said before, if it weren't for Chris, this graphic novel would be like 700 pages long.
Shout
He
out
was
to good
really good at
editors.
yeah, he was really good at being like, I like what you did here, but like, what if we did it with like a fifth of the text? It's like, all right, we can do that.
Oh,
No,
that's such a
it was
hard
good.
note. I mean, that's such a good note to get, right? Like, that's a great
Yeah,
note, but that's like a
yeah.
hard note to receive because you're like, but I don't wanna. I wanna.
Yeah, but the hardest part was like he was always right. I was like, yeah, you're probably right, and the book is so much better for it. But
I know Chris is watching, so Chris, clip that part and just save it in your back pocket. He was always right.
yeah, yeah, keep that one.
Um, David, your video is a little choppy. Do you have like another Wi-Fi that you can get on or something?
I might disconnect me for a second, but I can swap real quick.
Okay, if it doesn't, or if it does, I'll be ready on OBS. But thank you so much. I just want to make sure that we can see your beautiful expressions.
It's okay,
And
we'll
hey,
keep them busy.
Mustache. Hey, Mustache. Ennun, what was it like getting a 300 page script? Like, was that scary, or was it like, I don't know.
Really? I don't know. I didn't really think about it, to be honest, until way into working on it. Because I remember we were using a Google Drive to scroll and have all the script there and edit and everything that we needed to. And I remember I got to the bottom and I was like, oh, it's so big it's split into two. So I had to go and take the other part.
Oh, wow.
It was fun.
While you're reading the script, are you like visualizing how the pages will be laid out? Does that
Yeah.
come very easily to you?
Yeah, a lot of the times when if I'm supposed to do something based on the text, if by the time that I finish reading, I already know what it's going to look like. I'm very visual in that sense, I guess.
That's helpful.
Yeah. So, like, in that sense, it like, the comic wasn't hard to work for at all. It's just, a lot of pages.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, look at crystal clear. Good to have you back.
There we
David.
go.
Good to see your face.
Nice.
Um,
Also, yeah, we tried to keep it to 200, but we still went over, actually.
I mean, just by
One page.
yeah, like
1 or 2 pages, I think.
maybe 5, but it's fine.
No, honest, no.
No, what struck me about the book though is that it was 200 pages, which I get to read a lot of graphic novels for my job, which is really awesome. But sometimes when you're staring down a PDF and you look at it and it's like you're on, page 7 of hundreds, you're like, oh God, how am I going to read this before I have to get back to emails or whatever? But with your book, I just got so with Needle and Thread, like I was just so engrossed. I was just so, I don't know, like I just binged it, I guess. I just like read it the whole, like it felt like when I was a kid reading books and I would get so into it that I like would stay up late with like the flashlight. Like it felt like that again, right? Where it's just like I didn't want to stop reading. Like it was just such a fun read. So thank you for giving me that experience, and also like congratulations, because I think you both work so well together.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, thank you for liking it. And yeah, I think we kind of work pretty well together. And I remember when Chris sent me Ennun's like portfolio, I looked through it and I was like, yeah, we should, like, this is the art we want.
It's so
and then
perfect.
after
Yeah.
then after seeing that, because I was at, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 chapters deep at that point when I got the portfolio, it kind of like the artwork in my mind from that portfolio kind of like augmented a little bit of the tone moving forward, where I was like, oh, okay, I can kind of like see what this would look like in a way.
Yeah.
And it, I kind of changed up, not like too dramatically, but in a way that I kind of felt like, oh, this would kind of like match like the visuals coming in, and I think it worked out. I mean, the book looks incredible.
Even like the lettering like flows so well.
Yeah.
Both with Ennun's art and also like the dialogue, right? So I'm sorry, will you remind me who your letterer was?
Micah.
Myers.
Micah. Okay. So, yeah, like even like the tales, like was that a decision that y'all made as a collective? Was that a decision that, thank you so much, Manny, Micah Myers, that Chris made? Like the tales were just these like little lines, but they were kind of curly and very like sweet.
I think it was a decision made to fit a bit with the art style.
Mhm.
But we didn't really talk about it. The first time I saw it was when Chris sent me the first chapter lettered. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was the same for me. The first time I saw it, when it was when I got the when I saw the first chapter letter, and I was like, oh, this like basically almost like blends in with the comic art. Like it
Yeah.
fit perfectly.
Yeah, shout out to Micah too for like not for like adding to the art and not taking away, right? Like really like
Yeah.
meeting the moment. It was so well done, and it was such an interesting take on speech bubbles, and I was like, "Oh, this
Yeah.
is cool."
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was really happy with it because I have very strong opinions on how things I work on need to look at the end. But I was really happy with it in the end, so I was very glad.
Another thing is like when you have somebody off panel speaking, you'll have like their head over the speech bubble to indicate who's saying it. Uh, Ennun, did you have to go back and draw those after the lettering phase, or how'd that work?
No, so what happened was we talked about that a few chapters in, like halfway through, let's say. And I was talking with Chris, and he was like, "This is a cool idea," because Chris is also an avid manga reader, and that tends to happen a lot in manga, where they do tiny drawings or something to indicate who exactly is talking.
Yeah.
So we were like, "Yeah, sure, let's do that." And then we were like, "Let's just do the main characters, because that's probably the only ones we're gonna need." So I drew different, how should I say it? Ideas, like 3 different ones, I think. And we're like, okay, let's go with this one. And then I drew them nice, and then we sent them, and it was actually Micah, sorry, who put them on.
Oh yeah.
And then when I got the chapters back, I would tell Chris like, don't put it there, maybe put it there, or something like that.
Oh wow.
If I thought it wasn't really necessary, because sometimes you don't need it, but sometimes you do. So we'd go back and forth for a while.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, I had actually no idea that that was gonna happen. So when I got like the full like PDF and I was looking through it and I saw them, I was like, oh, that's like the coolest thing. Like it's something that never would have even like popped into my head. But then when I saw it, I was like, oh, this is great. Like I love this.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like there was just so many little details both in like the some of the background gags were really great. The lettering, just like all like I think one of the reasons why it was so easy to just consume is that like it was really fun to see everybody putting out their best work, or like like seeing a really solid team, both in the writing, like the dialogue, like how did you write teens dialogue and make it sound authentic? Like it never came off as like hello fellow kids. Like it really did sound like Zoomers today, right? And I assume,
Right.
David, that you're not a Zoomer yourself. I don't know how
I'm
to.
not.
Okay,
I'm
so
not. I'm not.
how
Whatever
did
would you
you write Zoomer dialogue so effortlessly?
So I watched just like a bunch of different TV shows, some movies, and they tend to a lot of times end up having some, focal point of like, um, like a school setting. Like for example, I'm a huge fan of the Persona series. That's all takes place in like a high school setting. I've watched way more episodes of Riverdale than I'm comfortable like explaining on this Zoom or on this this Twitch stream. Um, and so I kind of like took just kind of like media that I've already like consumed. And I think around the time when I was writing Needle and Thread, I had just watched or like I think I like just watched Lady Bird, and that has like a really good script for like teens that sound like they speak like they think that they know everything, which is just teens. um and I just kind of like took all of those kind of mediums, and just kind of like mashed them together, I guess. And I knew if I got somewhere between Riverdale and Ladybird, um, I would kind of like hit that tone that I was looking for. Um, but then also like a piece of advice, I cannot remember where I read it or I watched an interview. I cannot remember who gave this advice, but they're like, if you're going to be a writer, just listen to people. And I have a lot of teenage cousins. So like just like listening to like speech patterns and like hearing what they're talking about and being like, I don't know what those words exactly mean, but context clues, I think they mean this. Um, Kind of helped me, I guess, write the dialogue for all the, the I guess the different, I guess, cliques of kids that you see in Needle and Thread.
In terms of audience, who do you think that this story is for? Like, who do you see reading it, or who were you writing for?
I think I was I was writing for pretty much anyone that's ever wanted to do something, but wasn't like in some fashion allowed to do that thing. So I don't think I really wrote in terms of like an age group or like a demographic per se, but more so from the perspective of like I've been through high school. It's rough. And I have also understand having, wanting to, achieve something or do something and people being like, that's weird. Um, so that kind of, I guess that's kind of my audience, that group that's just kind of looking for like, I just want to do a thing, but no one understands why I want to do this thing. Um, and yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah, well, you nailed it.
Thank you.
Okay, so for both of you, so this is about cosplayers and like clothing design and stuff. And Ennun, I know that your mom designs clothes, but have either of you cosplayed yourselves?
I
I
don't know.
have not like proper actual. I am dressed as a specific character kind of cosplay. I haven't. No.
Okay, maybe like casual cosplay, or like
Yeah,
okay,
just like I went to maybe for your conventions my entire life, and dressed up cute to match the atmosphere, stuff like that. And when we were younger, we used to do a lot of costumed parties. So
okay,
if that counts, then kinda, but
yeah.
that's about it.
What about you, David?
Very, very little. One year I did go as, I have to get the names right because I flipped it in the show. I went as Cha Cha of the Hazel and Cha
Ooh,
Cha duo from the
Ooh,
Umbrella Academy.
nice.
But yeah, I went with the comic version because when I cosplayed it, there was no Netflix
okay.
uh, TV show to model off of. So yeah, the blue head.
Good one. That's a good cosplay. How was it?
Uh-huh.
I think for one of like my first, I and pretty much only, um, it turned out pretty well. It was a foam head, and it was very, very hot. And I was, in the comics, and I guess in the show, Cha Cha wears like a full suit. So you're in a full suit and a foam head, and you're just sweating for the duration of the convention. But it was
What
fun.
what con was this? If you don't mind me asking.
Dragon Con. Dragon Con.
Ooh, that's a good one to
Yeah.
cosplay at. I think I've heard that they're
Yeah.
pretty
Dedication.
kind.
Yeah.
And then Shane says we also did Cloak and Dagger for SDCC. So
Oh yeah, we also did. Yeah, that's true. Cloak and Dagger. I guess that is my wife in the chat. Then.
oh
I
yeah,
forgot
hey
about that.
wifey.
Hello.
If you have a link to photos, you could always drop those. That'd be cool.
I just casually slide them in.
Okay. Do you? I don't know. Like, do you want to do more cosplay after working on this and like writing about it and drawing cosplay? Like, did it kind of create a love for cosplay within yourselves, or is this just kind of like you like it, but you don't necessarily want to do it?
I think I'm more on the lines of I've always loved cosplay and I like seeing people in costumes.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely think it's one of those like I'm gonna go to all the cosplay contests as opposed to making them myself. I'm just gonna watch and spectate.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
'Cause
exactly
it's
how
a
I feel
lot of
about
work.
esports. Like,
Yeah,
I will
that's
spectate,
fair.
I don't want to participate, but I love watching it.
Right.
How about you, Ennun?
Honestly, I kind of do. But I don't know if I want to wear the cosplay, but I want to make the cosplay. So I'm just gonna get one of my friends to wear it instead.
Ooh, what costume? Like, what character do you want to make a costume for?
Well, since I'm an anime fan, there is a show that I love forever, and it has the most amazing clothes, which is called Character Sakura, if you ever heard of it.
Yes.
And
yes,
she
that's a
has the
good one.
most adorable costumes ever.
Yeah. If you haven't seen it, it's good. You should check that one out. It's a classic.
I will.
It is,
Yeah,
it's really good.
I'm actually slowly getting into anime through some
Please
very
tell me
kind
what
friends.
you think about it.
I will. Yeah. After we get off this Slack, or I guess Discord it to me, and I'll watch it, and then I'll do a full report afterwards.
And slowly getting people into anime. Hell yeah.
Chat, have you cosplayed before? And if you have, what was your favorite cosplay? And if you haven't, which character do you want to cosplay? I want to know what chat's thinking. And is it Shan or Shane?
It's Shannon, so I guess
Shannon. Okay, Shannon.
I'm not looking at the Twitch stream, so I don't know
Okay,
what
cool.
her handle is on there.
Shannon, if you have a new cosplay that you're working on, let us know what it is, because I'm really excited for that. That's so awesome. Yeah, just like so I used to work in clothing manufacturing, and the detail of like when they're making the clothes and like the things that go wrong and the things that they need to get fixed, I think that was all like really well researched and really well portrayed really well, actually. So I wanted to give you props for that, because I was like, oh yeah, this is like legit. Like, it's like, you know, when you see somebody in like I don't know, like hacking, right? And you're like, that's not
Right.
hacking. Like, you don't use 4
Yeah.
people on one keyboard to hack faster. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but this was like, I was like, oh, this is like, obviously they did a lot of research into this and got a lot of like feedback.
Yeah, I definitely did, especially from Noah's perspective, since Noah comes in at, sewing from a perspective of like, he tries to be, I guess, more classically trained, I guess is what the words I'm looking for. So, from my point of view, he would just kind of like Google, like, how do I do these kinds of things? So I pretty much just did that and just read a lot about sewing for a long time and kind of baked that in. So
For how
I'm glad
long?
it came across. I basically any chapter where Noah says anything relatively sewing related, it was preceded with like an hour or two of just like Google diving into like wiki pages and forums and being like, what is this stitch? What is this thing used for? What does this look like? Is this a real thing? Which it was fun to do, because then the other half of it was, they're cosplaying. So like, when you build a cosplay, you're just, half of the, shopping is done at like a thrift store and just finding things like, what can I buy to like turn into this other thing? And while I didn't cosplay a lot, I have a ton of friends who cosplay, and I've been on plenty of those like Joanne Fabrics runs, or those, going to like Goodwill and just trying to like find some things that we can kind of like hodgepodge together. So like being able to take those two halves, like from real experience and then just like a lot of research.
Yeah.
I was hoping it would pay off, and
Yeah, it did.
I think it did.
Yeah. And Ennun, did you do a lot of like research, or was this just like things that you had learned from your mother?
Yeah, no, not really. Yeah, well, pretty much everything that Appear I already knew about, so I was good.
It's life experience. That's research.
20 years for this exact moment.
Oh, we got some responses. Shan says, I did a classic Doctor Strange a few Halloweens ago. That might be my favorite costume I've done. But wearing a cape is very fun. Oh, yeah. Wearing a cape is like +10 to fun and charisma.
Yeah.
Avery says, my dream cosplay is Queen in Black from Wolvenheart. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. And then Shan says, my dream cosplay is Sailor Saturn. I'll love to be any Sailor Scout, but I really want that staff. Yes! That's a good one.
Nice.
I hope you make that work, and I hope to get to see photos of that. Okay, so do either of you have a favorite character either to draw or to write, or just a favorite character in the story? And who is it?
I definitely do. My favorite character overall is Hiroki, Noah's best friend. He's my favorite. I had a lot of fun writing him. There was a lot of restraint to not just make the book about him. And then the other character I had a lot of fun writing, which I don't know what it says about me personally, but I loved writing Margot. She's awful, but she was just so much fun to write because she doesn't have a moral compass. She has no boundary that she won't cross. Like if she's gonna say it's like think something about you, like she's gonna say it.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like freeing to just be like, I'm just gonna say whatever. Like all these things are awful, but it was fun. So it was kind of fun how those two as my, I guess they're like the yin and yang, right? Hiroki,
Yeah,
so
those are such
militantly
different
nice.
Yeah.
And Margot's just awful through and through.
For those who don't know, Margot is like one of the popular girls, and she has a pretty, I would say, abusive friendship with the character, which is very controlling.
Pretty nasty.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, Margot, you gotta take a look at some of the choices you're making. Like, slow down.
Chill out.
Yeah. Ennun, how about you? Do you have a favorite character?
My favorite overall was also Hiroki, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, mine too, actually. Also my favorite character.
Hiroki, he's fun.
If you ever want to write a book about him, hook me up.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, that's on Chris. If he wants that, absolutely.
I want that. Chris, please
Absolutely.
make this happen. The picture of him like eating pizza and it's like hanging out of his mouth, kind of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style, where he's just like the cheesy pizza hanging out of his mouth. I was like, I love this panel. Like that's my favorite panel, I think, in the whole book.
So good.
It's so adorable. I love him.
Yes, everyone needs to buy this book so we can get a Hiroki backstory, or just where is he now? Did he become a chef?
Yeah.
And then send emails to Chris and be like, hey, maybe.
Yeah, as you can tell, I had too much fun writing Hiroki, and I don't know, Noah just needed a really good friend, and I was like, what is the ideal friend? I'm like, Hiroki.
Yeah.
This kid is perfect.
That was something else that was really cool about the book, is it's all about friendships and including really strong platonic friendships, which I really appreciated. And I'm really excited for, kids these days to get an example of a strong platonic relationship, or I'm sorry, friendship. And so that was that a choice that you both made? Was that something that you had to fight for?
I didn't have to fight for it. When I was talking with Chris through the various stages of doing the book, I kind of vocalized, I was like, I want to make sure that this book is just like Noah and Azzy, they're just friends, they're that's just it. They're just really good friends. And that there was no pushback or anything. I think it was more or less welcomed. But yeah, that was pretty important to me, especially since the core of it is about friendship and kind of people you want to be around, and trying to achieve what you want to achieve, and bringing in the people that will support those ideas. I think it gets a little bit muddied if it's are they dating? Just have it just be a strong just friendship. So
which, to be clear, I love those will they won't they stories too. But It was very refreshing to have they're just really good friends and they're supporting each other and they're pushing each other to be better, from friendship and not through like romantic means or from a romantic place. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Ennun, something that I also wanted to talk about was your character acting. It was like so well done. How? Like, do you take like reference photos of yourself? Like, how do you get the acting down on the page so well?
I actually don't use references that often. It's quite rare.
What?
Yeah. Don't be like me, kid. If you're learning to draw, use references. But yeah, no, I don't use references. So like, if I ever do use a reference, it's just because it's a very weird angle, so it's hard to gouge how it's supposed to look, so it looks right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's just because, like, I've been drawing obsessively since I was like a tiny wee little baby. So I literally draw every single day. So I think I've just gotten to the point where I don't really need references for, at least for people, because I like drawing people. So I spent a lot of time studying anatomy so that I could draw it without needing reference.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, because it
really
looks
impressive.
really expressive. Like no two faces are like, even in like the backgrounds, like no two faces are the same.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sorry, I'm a little bit shocked that you don't use references because that's really well done.
Wow. Well, I'm glad all my work paid off then.
Yeah.
Do you have, I guess, advice for other artists who are trying to work on their expressions and their characters' like emotions?
I think the best thing that helped me is to draw actual people. It's like, photo references are good, but you learn a lot more if you just sit in like a park or something and just draw people that are walking by or something.
Yeah.
Like, even if you have to sit your mom and just be like, can you just did like this for 2 seconds and just doodle real quick? Like, I don't know how to explain, but there's a very big difference in what you get from a picture and what you get from drawing an actual person that is in front of you.
Yeah.
And it's a bit hard now because, pandemic, but eventually.
You could do it over Zoom maybe, right? You could draw me right now. Give you one of these eyebrows.
No.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so unfortunately this went by so quickly, but we're running low on time. So I have 2 last questions that I want to ask. My first one is, what are you hoping readers take away from Needle and Thread?
I guess just go for it and find good friends. Like those I guess are the two takeaways.
Those are great takeaways.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Short and sweet.
Nothing to add, Ennun?
I think, like, not to be too rebellious, but,
No,
if
please.
you have to, do argue with your parents a bit, because at the end of the day, it's your future on the line. So, at least try to push to be able to do what you want to do, not just what is safe to do.
Or expected of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You'll
maybe
have
like
a much better time, trust me.
champion yourself.
Yeah.
And even if
absolutely.
you can't do it professionally, don't just drop it. Because, like, it's gonna be a very good hobby for you, and it's going to help you relax in the future. So, keep going.
That's really good advice. Okay, my last question is, what advice do you have for somebody who wants to break into comics, either for writing or for drawing? And Ennun, I'll start with you.
Oh, well done. I don't make comics. Like, personally, I also like writing comics, so I think I have an easier job, in a way, because I can just make stories and then I put them on Twitter or something, or on webtoons, websites like that. Like, that's how Chris found me in the first place. But even if you're not too confident in your storytelling abilities, just take a story that already exists and make something off of it. Like, I used to practice on fairy tales and just take them and be like, okay, I'll divide them into 8 panels only and just see if I can make it understandable. Like, any little practice that you can get, do it. And once you feel comfortable enough, start posting them online, because you actually learn a lot when you have people looking at what you do.
That's good and scary advice.
I know.
David, how about you? What advice do you have for somebody who wants to break into comics?
Yeah, kind of going off of what Ennun said, make comics. I know it's a bit of a catch-22, but just sit down and just write a comic, right? It doesn't have to be, you know, a full 24 page, single issue. Doesn't have to be a 200-page graphic novel. It can just be like a 5, 10 page script just to kind of like get into it. And even if you don't have your own ideas, it's fine to write just like based off of another property, right? I've done plenty of that when I was starting to write comics. And then the other thing, I guess, is more for like from a writing perspective. And I've heard this advice given a lot, and I really do agree with it. But obviously, read comics, but also read, news articles, magazines, watch TV shows, whatever. You never know what's going to kind of spark that kind of idea in your brain, right? You might be reading just some like news article about something that they found on the moon or Mars or whatever, and that's going to kind of like give you some ideas. And then the way that that article is written, even though it's not a story per se, it is trying to convey to you information and convey to you like why something is interesting, and that kind of like article structure and seeing like how it begins and ends and how it like brings you into why do I care about this thing they found on the moon through the article translates pretty well into writing, comics or really any story at that point. Is like, how do I bring the person in? How do I make them care about this thing? And how do I keep them through, from page 1 to, page 200 or whatever. Yeah. If it's me, like 350 or whatever.
I just love words.
Yeah. So, and that's the other thing. Don't be like me. Be nice to your artists and remember that every word takes space in a panel. It is a physical medium, and everything you say will show up in a panel, and just kind of keep that kind of real estate in mind.
Yeah, real estate is a good word for it.
Yeah.
Well, before you both leave, I would like to do the giveaway. So I'm actually going to let David, do you want to give me a word? And I'll use it for the giveaway. Just a single word.
Just any word? Okay. Sword.
Sword.
Nice.
Okay, so
Yeah,
chat.
I have a
You have
thing
a
on
tat
my
on your
letter
wall over
opener. I have a little Gryffindor letter opener. On my...
That's pretty cute. Chat, type sword in chat, and you will be entered to do a giveaway. We're doing a crochet kit so that you can make your own cosplay at home, actually.
Ooh.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Listen. Needle and Thread is going to inspire so many cosplays. I'm excited for people to start cosplaying the characters from Needle and Thread, actually.
That would be exciting.
I think I might actually cry if I see that. I'm like, oh, it's real.
Let's make it happen.
That
All
would
right.
be cool.
Chat, type sword. It is caps insensitive, so, this doesn't matter. You can do all caps. You can do no caps, as long as the word sword is there. I'm going to give it a little bit more. Yeah, thank you both so much. Do you have any last words before we wrap up? Last advice? Last requests?
I guess thanks for having us, and I hope everyone that picks up the book enjoys it. Had a lot of fun doing it.
I think this is going to be a popular book.
I actually have one thing I want to say. Going back to the comic book advice, just because I think it's important. If you're learning, do not stress yourself over finishing a comic. It's fine if it's not done. It's okay. Don't burn yourself out over it. Just move on and do another one. You're learning. It's okay.
Always pick it up again later or do something different. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is
Good
true.
advice. Is that learned advice, Ennun?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
You learn,
really good
yeah, you learn
advice.
pretty fast. Like, you know how it's like you have something to do and you have a mind block and you're like, oh God. So, just spare yourself. Learn from my mistakes.
Okay, chat, you have 2 more seconds before I roll this. Odds are actually pretty good.
Good
King
luck,
sword. Okay. I'm gonna roll it. Give me a drum roll, please. Created by Alice! Congratulations! You have won a crochet kit and
Nice.
perhaps the need to post photos of whatever you crochet afterwards. You won a
Yes,
chore.
and tag us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Please
I
tag.
want to see it.
Yeah. Congratulations, Alice. So exciting. Ah, yay! Snaps and claps in chat for Alice. Oh my gosh. Okay. Thank you both. Thank you for making this book. It's incredible. Thanks for being on the show. I had a great time. This went by way too quickly. Chat, I am
Yeah.
going to... Oh, I'm sorry?
I said it always does.
Yeah, I know. You're both just like such wealths of knowledge. I just want to talk to you for like 5 hours. We'll have to do this
We should
again.
do it one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to play the trailer again for anybody who missed it, and then I'll be back and talking about what's in previews, which, spoiler, Needle and Thread is in previews right now, so make sure you pre-order it. Okay, BRB.
Yo, this is your boy, Hiroki, coming at you live from Green Lake High. At the top of the food
Awesome.
chain, we got Azuri. She's
pretty
the
good.
dopest clothes,
It was fun,
the
yeah.
coolest friends. She's even the head cheerleader. I mean, this girl's got it all. Then there's my guy Noah. He's definitely not at the top of the food chain, but he's my best friend. He likes to do weird stuff like watch old monster movies, read comics. My man even sews his own clothes. Crazy, right? He's got this dream of working in film, making costumes. I don't know. Could be kinda cool. But his parents don't seem to dig it. I know he's applying for Stonewell anyway. Hope he gets in. I just don't want to see my boy sad, you know? Like, it's senior year. It's supposed to be the best year of our lives. Anyway, I gotta get to class. Hiroki out?
Boom, hi! And I'm back. That was such a good way to start my day. I thank you so much to everybody who came and asked questions. Shan, thank you so much for being in chat and sharing some extra. Oh my gosh, if you shared those photos, please. David has my email. Just ask him for it and email them to me. That would be that would be great. And I think yes, Alice, congratulations again. Yeah, please send photos. And I hope you have fun crocheting. Cool. Okay. So let me pull up my very cool previews to tell you what is in previews this week. Okay. So in previews this week is Needle and Thread, and actually the date, the FOC for that is July 29th. So, oop. 1 second. Sorry, I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. Sorry. Thank you so much for hanging out. Yeah, so in previews this week is Needle and Thread, including the FOC is July 29th, so which is like next week. So make sure that you talk to your local comic shop and let them know that you want that. I am just going to make a declaration right now and say it's probably going to sell out. So I would definitely put in your pre-order to make sure that you get it. It's going to be a big book. Yeah, I'm really excited for it. Also in previews is Bountiful Gardens #1, which is also going to be a really good book. Oh, y'all got to order all these. Battle Cats Volume 3, Issue 3, Nottingham Volume 1, speaking of selling out, Beckstar #5. So those are all in previews. So talk to your local comic shop. Let them know that you want those put into your pool, and then that way you can guarantee that you'll get your copy, because as we are finding out, Mad Cave is selling out pretty quickly. That's been our show. I've been your host, Jaslyn Stone. I actually have a bit of an announcement. So next week is actually going to be my final transmissions. I am, as the show grows, it needs a lot more time, but at the same time my career is growing a bunch, and so I'm not able to give the show as much time as it needs. And so I love this show and I don't want it to be done poorly. I want it to have everything that it needs. So I'm actually going to be leaving, and next week is my final one. So in August we'll have a new host. They're very cool. I can't say who it is yet, but I'm leaving the show in really good hands. So make sure that you come back next week. I'll be very mushy. I might cry. That's my MO. Aw, yeah, thank you. Thanks, Mustache. Thanks, Avery. It's been really fun. I'll save the mush for next week. So definitely come back next week, where we will have Bountiful Garden writer Ivy Noel Weir on. So it's going to be like a really good last show for me. And then good news, it's still going. Like every Wednesday you can still be here and chat, and I'll probably be with you, honestly, because I really do love this show. So I've been your host, Jaslyn Stone, and while you get to see me, this show is actually made of like a bunch of really awesome people, so I'd like to thank the people who helped me put it on, including Allison, Asia, Chris, Manny, Frank, who are both in chat, thank you, Gio, Mark, all of the Mad Cave crew, and the incredible Mad Cave design team who make all these sweet overlays and make me look so good week after week. Aw, thank you so much, chat. Aw. Thank you, Mustache. Yeah, I'm excited to see you next week. It's going to be a good one. Yeah. Aw, miss you too. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, follow me on Twitter. Like, I'm still around. I'm still hosting stuff. But yeah. All right. This has been really fun. I hope you have a great new comic book day. I hope that you pre-order Needle and Thread, because it is so worth it. It's such a sweet book, and it just makes you feel like you can be whatever you want to be and do whatever you want to do. And yeah, that's been my time. Thanks, everybody. Stay hydrated. Bye.